Good evening. The old man here, 12, 21, 24. I want to talk more about the stock market this evening, and what I believe has been going on, and where I think it's going to go. First of all, the stock market, it keeps going. It's surging forward because of momentum. Money is just being poured into the sector. Again, everybody's IRA. Everybody's got an IRA. Every month or every paycheck, X amount of your income, and if you've got a employer that's matching your IRA deposits, all of that money's going in on every paycheck, which is fuels the surge forward. Okay. And that momentum is what's keeping the stock market up. It's keeping certain individuals, the speculators and such, confident. And as long as they don't lose confidence, everything will be okay. However, I believe this quarter, you're going to see the surge stall. And when the surge stalls, that is the beginning of the end. The dollar price might still go up for a while, but the surge has slowed. Part of that surge, I believe you'll see, or the lack of surge or the stall, will be caused by unemployment. Also, as the last quarter especially, as people find it more and more difficult to pay their bills because of inflation, and Christmas coming in the fourth quarter, and nobody wants anybody else to know you don't have money to buy Christmas gifts. You got to keep up that illusion. People will quit, at least temporarily, quit putting into their IRA. That's just something some people do. The other thing is I'm starting to see quite a bit of layoffs. If you're not doing what I do, you're probably only going to know if somebody got laid off if he's in the family or whatever. But distant relatives, you're not going to know. Friends, distant friends, people you know, probably aren't going to call you up and say, "Hey, but dude, I just got laid off." No, they're not going to do that. And at least for a while, they're going to have the hope that they're going to turn around and get another job. But also, those folks, as they get laid off, they are no longer paying into their IRA, and their spouses will have to stop their IRA contributions just to help pay the bills, because we know most people are levered right up. That, if their income is X, they've got 90% of it spent on bills that they've created through debt. So that spouse will also, so you can multiply this factor. And so I believe you're going to see a fourth quarter stall. And with that being said, the momentum has stopped or slowed way down. And with that lack of momentum, and I think you'll see the real job numbers come out either just before or just after Trump is inaugurated, and they'll go, "Oh my God, the numbers are, jobless claims have gone to 6% from 4.5% or whatever it is," and that shows a big surge. Now they know what the real numbers are; they've been hiding them, but just to get back at Trump for winning, and the Patriots, as far as that goes, and the American public. They'll do anything to get back at the American public because we're a bunch of idiots, right? And that pisses them off that we think that we're smarter than they are. So they'll bring them job numbers out, and they won't be good. And just because they've been hiding it right along, and so that'll also wake a lot of people up and go, "Oh my God," and Maybe I better hold on to my money, maybe, and not put it in a stock market. Maybe I need to cash out of some of that money, cash out of that, and that'll really fuel the stall, if you will, or defuel the stock market. I guess would be a better way to say it. But I see that coming here in the fourth quarter. And what does that mean for the first quarter of next year? That means that's going to be a bloodbath. That is literally going to be a bloodbath in the stock market. Again, I've talked about it before. I think you're going to see a 35% drop in the stock market to begin with. And everybody go, oh my God. And a lot of these guys, the smart money, if you will, are already sitting on the sidelines in bonds and other places. Maybe they bought into, the paper gold certificates or ETFs, and the paper silver ETFs, just a place to park their money for now. They don't want to bring it back to cash, or they don't want to buy physical gold, so they're buying paper gold and paper silver, waiting for the market to crash. And as soon as it comes down 35%, they'll go, there it is. There's the dip. Let's go. And they've been trained over the last, especially 20 years, to buy the dip. Buy the dip, buy the dip. That's all everybody knows is buy the dip. And these managers, money managers, they're already getting grief for sitting on the sidelines. You got to know they are. And their clients want to know, well, why am I not into NVIDIA? And they're like, dude, it's not, it's way overpriced. We don't want to be in NVIDIA. We need to fall back and wait for a dip. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to wait for that dip. They're sitting on the sidelines right now, and that dip's going to come, and they're going to buy back in, and they're going to push it right back up, and then it's going to crash again. And a lot of that money is going to be burned up, through that crash. A lot of people are going to lose their money. And that means, your portfolio that somebody's managing for you, they're going to, jump back into the market on that 35% crash. And then they're going to, think they're, flying high. You're going to think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then that second 35% crash comes. And then there'll still be some folks on the sidelines with some money, because not everybody's going to jump in. They're done. No, it's going to be worse this time. So when that crashes again by 35%, another 35%, mind you, on top of the original 35%, when it crashes again, those folks will jump in. There you go. That's the dip. It can't get any worse than that. We got to get in now, and they're going to get a lot of pressure from clients that, hey, that's it. You got to jump back in. I want to put my money to work, and they will. And it'll do it one more time. I believe we're going to see a 95-ish total percent crash to the bottom, and that it's so overvalued right now. There is only one other time in history that our stock market has been this overvalued. And I'll let you guess when that was, what year that was. Give you a second to think about it. Probably don't need 2 seconds. That was 1929, or actually 1928. It was this overvalued. And we all know what happened in 1929. I think we're going there again, and only this time, because the market has been manipulated for so many years, and it's been kept from the normal business cycle. They keep trying all of these, and they work temporarily. They keep trying all of these different, drop the short end of the lending, like they just did again. They just did 75 or 50 points, and now they've done 70 or another 25 for 75 point short-term interest rate. That doesn't help anybody that's trying to get a house loan. the house loan is still going to be 7, 8%, 9%, whatever. So it hasn't helped any at all. All that short-term lending is all for banks. That's the only people they're trying to bail out is the banks. Or at least keep them shored up long enough that nobody knows that they're collapsing. So, I think that's where it's headed. I think that's why we need to prepare. And the best way to prepare is the same way central banks across the world and even governments are preparing, is buying gold. Now, I am a bit of a speculator, and I am a sucker for silver. So, yes, I will be buying that silver. And again, like I talked earlier, normally silver runs at the end of a bear market, or at the end of the market, just before we start coming out of this recession, which I believe, and I can elaborate more on that maybe even yet tonight. As we come out of this recession, that they're gonna call it a recession. Right now, they've been telling you, no, we're good, it's soft landing, whatever. Well, in reality, because they fudged the figures so much to make it look like it's not a recession and we're going to have a soft landing. We've actually been in a recession for the last couple of years. Things have been pretty tight for folks, and that's a recession, being pretty tight. I think this time around, you're going to actually see a depression. I think you're going to see 20% layoffs at the end of the day. Again, I talked about in one of the other videos in the Russell 2000 at the beginning of which is a small cap stock market, the section of the stock market that's small cap. The Russell 2000 is 2,000 companies that got small caps, and the big guys don't even play with them because if they do, it pushes the market, it falsely pushes the market up and skews it terrible, so they don't even play with the small cap. And they were saying that prior to the pandemic that 20% of those small cap stocks of the Russell 2000, 20% were zombie companies, meaning they couldn't even pay the interest on their debt, or could barely pay the interest on their debt, and banks had to keep propping them up and giving them some money just to stay alive, because if they let them die, that would look bad on the bank's balance sheet. That was 20%, of which is a hell of a lot. Of 2,000 companies, 20% would be 400 companies. Again, those stats I heard lately, I believe, if memory serves me right, it was 48% of the Russell 2000 are now zombie companies that are not making any money, okay, or not enough money to pay their debt. And the banks are shoring them up until they can't. And that day is coming rather soon. When this market starts to tank, the banks are going to have so many losses, they're not going to be able to carry them guys anymore. They're not going to be able to carry all the Russell 2000 that's underwater. So out of 2,000 stocks, 48% is damn near 1,000 companies. Damn near 1,000 companies that can't even pay the interest on their debt. Not alone the principal, they can't pay the interest on their debt. All right? What if you couldn't pay the interest on your debt? Where you at? You're on your way to bankruptcy, right? Well, you take that times 1,000, damn near 1,000 companies that can't even pay the interest on their debt. And that's now. What is it going to be like in a recession / depression? Whatever you want to call it whatever you want. I don't care. It doesn't matter. The reality of it is it's going to be mighty tough. So you get 1,000 companies in the Russell 2000 that go, damn near 1,000 that go bankrupt. And there's several, if there's 1,000 that are zombie companies, or damn near 1,000 zombie companies that can't pay their interest, how many are in that same neighborhood? Okay, is that 1,500 out of 2,000? In other words, another 500 that can barely pay their bills or barely pay their interest out of 2,000? How many of them are going to be left at the end of the day when this market starts to tank? Probably not a lot. Okay, there's probably not going to be a lot. Well, hopefully you don't have any stock in any of them companies. And you're going to see the big companies, you're going to see them, a lot of them fold and go. And what's that going to do to unemployment? Push it right up. Push it up. And in my business, I'm seeing, because I get a lot of guys that, we talk about stacking gold and silver. These guys stack guns. And maybe gold and silver too, but a lot of these guys stack guns. And they start selling them guns when people start getting laid off. When their spouses get laid off, or themselves get laid off, they start selling them guns. They get ahead of it and start not paying down debt. Well, these layoffs are coming rather regular. For the last 5 or 6 or 7 years, I haven't hardly heard about, and I'm sure the people got laid off, whatever. I mean, hell, they probably got fired as far as that goes for not doing their job. But, I'm sure there's a few, but you hear about it so seldomly, you don't even pay attention to it, really. But nowadays, I hear it several times a week, and at times, I'll hear it several times a day that somebody got laid off. They had, whether one spouse or the other got laid off, and they're hoping that they get another job pretty soon. Well, let me tell you, they're probably not. And the ones that are getting laid off right now, these companies are cutting the executive jobs, the $100,000 a year jobs that they've got way too many of. They've tried to carry them over the last couple of years, and they have, but now they're to the precipice. They have to do something, and they're starting there. I imagine they're laying off at the lower end as well, but it makes a lot more difference when you lay off somebody that's making $100,000 versus 3 people that are making $40,000. Okay, it makes a big difference. I mean, it just, because the person on the $40,000 job is probably still making product of which brings in income, but the person making $100,000 is actually a liability. Yeah, you might need them if you got enough people working, but as soon as you don't have enough people working or you plan on laying more off, you start laying them $100,000 jobs off. So that is coming. I hate to be the buzzkill, but you know what? I just want you to know the truth to the best of my ability and what I've seen coming. And it's finally here. I hate to say it, but it is. But the good news is you've got the opportunity to prepare. There's so many people that don't want to hear it. I've talked to some people, and I just start to say something about it, and you could see their eyes glass over like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I see it. Yeah, sure. I see it. But the mainstream media telling me everything's okay. I don't need to hear the truth. Mainstream media will be fine for me. I hear it every day, or I see it every day. Every time I try to talk to somebody about it, I like to educate folks all day long. That's I believe it's part of my job. That's part of what I was put here for. So, hell, I've got several more ideas for other videos. They're coming up. I'll do my very best to do one tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening as well. Don't have too much planned for tomorrow, so I should be able to get both of them out pretty well. I appreciate you guys stopping by again tonight. If you would, like, subscribe, and share. And please leave a comment. I've seen quite a few people leave comments for the videos from this morning. I really appreciate it. The last 2, actually, quite a few comments from my videos. And I really appreciate it, guys. It motivates me, keeps me going, keeps me thinking, and keeps me researching. So you guys have a great night. I'm going to go home and do some more research, elaborate a little bit more on some of the other things I've been researching along the same lines. Have a good night. Thank you. Bye.